Because excessive amounts of cardio also helps you lose weight, definitely, but makes you lose muscle mass. When you lose muscle mass, your metabolism slows down, which actually makes it more difficult to lose fat. So if you lose a lot of muscle mass, then your metabolism slow down. So even if you lose that weight, you're going to gain it back much faster. Right. People have become more lazier, like they've become dependent on technology. What I would recommend is to carry a big bottle of water with you, like wherever you go. So that way you actually remind yourself to drink water.
So for anyone who's kind of tuning in, what is the one piece of wisdom you'd want to impart onto everyone?
Just losing weight is also not healthy because you can lose muscle mass along with,
Hello and welcome to FitPod, brought to you by Fitzky and Olu Water, where we talk everything fitness and hydration. This is a 4-part series where we talk to experts in their field about everything to do with nutrition, fitness, hydration, and of course, all things wellness. So my guest today is Akib Asfar, who is an NCSF certified fitness coach. You are a very young person who's found his passion very early on in life, and that is fitness. And I'm really, really glad to have you here because there's so much that I want to talk to you about fitness, specifically about your expertise, which is fat loss, right?
That's right.
So Akib's helped 500 plus people across the globe lose fat and lose weight and come to their fitness goals and achieve their and get in shape, really. Okay, so talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. A lot of people, I think we have a lot of noise around fitness and about weight loss, weight management, but still so many people struggle with just that, about weight management and fat loss and weight loss. So if you were to explain to me like I was a 5-year-old, what are some basic, very fundamental sort of fitness aspects that you would talk to me about?
Okay. The first thing would be in terms of like your nutrition, right? Because a lot of people neglect that part. Like nutrition, they don't eat right.
Yes.
Especially in our country, like we eat a lot of carbs, way too much of carbs. and also I notice people don't move as much. Right. People have become more lazier, like they've become dependent on technology. Like even before, back in the day, like before there was Uber Eats and all, people used to walk more, like to get food or even to any basic needs they would like walk. But then now people have become so dependent on technology and they walk less, they move less, right? So that I've noticed that has actually made people more overweight and unfit throughout the past years. So I would say the first thing would be like focusing on improving your nutrition and then moving more, like whether it's exercise or whether it's just moving more in general.
I understand. I mean, this is something that I notice quite often as well, especially because I live in Australia and also here, and I do travel a lot as well. So whenever I'm traveling, or if I'm living in Australia, for example, I feel like my step count, as basic as it is much, much higher than it is when I'm here. In fact, if I don't make a very conscious effort to walk, I don't get even very basic amounts of steps in. So that I feel has affected my fitness as well as my just general mobility, just to keep moving. So for somebody who's not going to the gym and getting on a treadmill and walking, how would you suggest that people get their step count in? Because as you said before, it's very, very important to have that mobility, right?
Yeah. So it's just about setting aside some time to make sure you go outdoors and just walk for at least 30 minutes a day. That's like the bare minimum, right? Walking 30 minutes will help you get around 3,000 steps, right? So if you're usually getting around 1,000 to 2,000 steps, a 30-minute walk will help you get around 5,000 or 6,000 steps, which is actually good, which can help you improve your health, can also help you lose a bit of weight, get in better shape. So that would be something I would recommend, walking at least 30 minutes a day, regardless of if you're going to the gym or not.
Is it at a particular pace as well? Because sometimes I feel like, okay, if I'm running errands and just walking, and my step count is good.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, should I be going to the park or going to a walking track and walking at a particular pace also? Or is any amount of steps okay still?
It would be better if you could go outdoors and walk.
Okay.
Right? Because you can get a good amount of steps even indoor, but when you intentionally set aside 30 minutes and walk throughout that 30 minutes, that is more beneficial for you.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. So, like I said before, you are a fitness expert, somebody who specializes in fitness. But you also recognize, like most fitness experts, that nutrition plays a huge part in
Definitely
how we manage our wellness and our fitness. And a lot of people, when they say, okay, this is how you go about losing this much weight, or this is how you go about achieving a certain weight loss goal, they talk about nutrition, obviously, fitness or exercise aspect of it, and then hydration. But hydration seems like something that's so basic, so
True.
very intuitive. It's something eating and drinking.
Yeah.
But I'm always surprised to see how many people just don't meet their hydration requirements on a daily basis. So how do you see hydration fitting into weight loss goals and things like that?
So your body is basically made up of 60 to 70% of water.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're not getting enough water, you can be dehydrated. And most people don't know that they're dehydrated. Right. And a lot of people who are trying to lose weight, because they're dehydrated, they start eating more. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this,
Right.
but when you're dehydrated, when you're thirsty, you actually eat more. You become hungry as well.
Okay.
Right. So it's super important to make sure you're hydrated, especially, if you're someone who's active and working out, you're losing a lot of water. So you need to make sure you stay hydrated throughout.
Okay, yeah. So because I have come across readings where it says, okay, a lot of the time when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty.
That's true.
And also just the fact that a lot of the time people say that you should have a certain amount of water before your meals. What's the logic behind that? Because I've always wondered. I really still don't have like an exact understanding of it. If you feel hungry, try drinking water first. That I understand.
Yes.
But okay, why do people suggest that one drinks water before a meal?
Having your meals? Yeah. So mainly to reduce your appetite, right?
Okay.
Because when you're not drinking enough water, again, you're gonna feel hungrier, right? And once you drink like a good amount of, like a good glass of water, you don't feel as hungry, and it fills your appetite, and also it improves your digestion, right? So there are a lot of benefits of drinking water, before your meal as well.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now, actually. Because there's so much information out there.
That's
and
true.
I think you would already know this as well. And I'm sure that your clients actually come to you with a lot of understanding already, but also a lot of confusion because of the sheer amount of information that's out there.
True.
So for people who are mere mortals like me, I feel sometimes inundated with this amount of information, and to figure out what's right for me and what's relevant to me is kind of difficult sometimes.
Exactly.
Also, I think when I read your introduction, it said that you're a fat loss expert. That's different from weight loss expert, if I'm not wrong.
True.
So weight loss and fat loss, when you're into fitness and you're already on a certain fitness journey, you understand that okay, there is a difference between weight loss and fat loss.
Yes.
So how do you differentiate, and where does your focus on fat loss come from?
So the main difference between weight loss and fat loss depends on your body composition.
Okay.
Right. So your weight composes of your entire body, right? Your bones, the amount of water, your organs, all of that. But your fat is just a percentage of that weight,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're losing fat, you're specifically losing like the fat from your body, and you don't necessarily have to lose weight in order to lose fat.
Right. Okay.
Because I have some clients who want to build muscle while
Yes.
losing fat at the same time.
Correct.
Right? So when they build muscle, their weight goes up. And when they lose fat, the weight comes down. So it actually balances out.
Yeah.
And so they can be the same weight, but look completely different.
Yes.
Maybe 3 months later, because they have lost just fat and not weight.
Correct.
Right? A lot of people think, okay, I just need to lose weight, but sometimes just losing weight is also not healthy, because you can lose muscle mass along with the fat you're having.
Yeah, I do notice a lot where people do lose weight using very different methods, using whatever methods they can lean on, because people with the kind of unrealistic goals that we have today of what somebody's body should look like and what one should look like, especially with all of these expectations through social media and just the kind of information that we consume, the kind of visuals that we consume, I do feel like there's a little bit of misinterpretation also about weight loss. So when you lose weight, not fat but weight, I'm sure there are risks associated with just losing weight by any means because of muscle loss.
Yes.
And obviously that would in turn lead to bone density loss and things like that. So how do you find a way to know that you're losing weight, but losing it the right way, and also just focusing on fat, which we don't need much of, right?
That's true. So the way you find out if you're losing fat and not losing weight in an unhealthy way is based on the method you're using to lose fat.
Okay.
Right. So some people do extreme diets where they do zero carbs and ketogenic diets, or intermittent fasting is all right, but you need to make sure you're getting enough calories, enough of nutrients, and you're working out. Right. I recommend working out with weights and not just doing too much of cardio as well, because excessive amounts of cardio also helps you lose weight, definitely, but makes you lose muscle mass. And when you lose muscle mass, your metabolism slows down, which actually makes it more difficult to lose fat.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you lose a lot of muscle mass, then your metabolism slow down. So even if you lose that weight, you're going to gain it back much faster.
Yeah.
So I've seen clients who've come to me saying, I lost 10 kilos, but then gained it all back within a month or two. Right. That's mainly because of using methods which are not sustainable.
Yeah.
Right. Not having a proper healthy lifestyle, because you need to have a balanced lifestyle in order to lose weight and also keep it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only diet that works is the one you can continue with, right?
That's
to
true.
Sustain. Because anytime you take a fad diet, unless you have extreme willpower and determination, it's very difficult to keep that up. And your body, the more it fluctuates between different weight points and the more it fluctuates between kind of different kinds of food habits and things like that, I'm assuming it's quite detrimental to your overall health as well, because we want to look good, we want to have a particular weight goal, all of that, but we have to also think about our internal health, our organs, things like that.
Definitely.
So do you see a lot of that as well, where people just kind of yo-yo diet? And
Yes, I see that a lot with people who had body image issues, where they've been bullied in the past.
Yes.
They try to do anything and everything to just lose weight, and that impacts their health. It makes it even worse, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Because when you gain that weight back after you've lost it, that makes them feel depressed and more stressed out. Right. So you need to make sure you're actually following something that's sustainable and healthy in the long run.
Okay. So again, going back to hydration, I read somewhere, this could be taken with a grain of salt, but somewhere around 75% of people in the US are dehydrated. Basically, they're not getting their daily hydration requirements met. And this is the case mostly, give or take, 60%, 70%, somewhere around there. That percentage of people are just not having their hydration requirements met in the Western world. Haven't really come across any studies here, but we can get a general idea that most people are not getting enough hydration into their bodies. So what are some really practical ways that maybe you follow, because you are in this space and getting to see so many different cases of people having different lifestyle habits? So what are things that you recommend to your clients, particularly to get their hydration levels up during the day?
Yeah, a big tip what I would recommend is to carry a big bottle of water with you, like wherever you go. So that way you actually remind yourself to drink water.
Because at least to reduce the weight that you're carrying in the bottle, right? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So a lot of people, mostly they just drink, I would say 3 to 4 glasses of water a day, right? Because they forget to drink water. Most people forget to drink water.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So you can maybe set some reminders to drink water. And also before any kind of physical activity or workout, it's super important to hydrate yourself, because that has a major impact on your performance. Right? Even if you come in any kind of sports or any kind of activity, you need to make sure you're properly hydrated. Right? And the best thing would be to carry a bottle of water with you wherever you go. And also another thing I've noticed is when you drink a lot of caffeine, right, that makes you dehydrated as
Guilty.
well.
Guilty as charged. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so that can make you dehydrated.
Right.
If you consume a lot of caffeine, you need to increase the amount of water you drink as well.
Okay. Honestly, you know what? You learn something new every day. This is something I just learned.
Right.
Because I do try to get as much hydration in as possible, because I do find that it's not as intuitive as you would think. You'd think it's
That's
common
true.
sense. You get thirsty, you drink water. But the amount of water that you do need, we don't have a really good understanding of that. We think, okay, like you said, 2 to 3 glasses of water. Okay, I'm not thirsty anymore. That's enough. But that's not what your body needs. You need more. And because I'm an avid caffeine drinker, now I know that I need to be drinking a little more than the average, maybe, because my body might be getting a little more dehydrated as a result as well.
Yes.
Okay, so this is really great. Okay, so Akib, honestly, I learned quite a lot on this podcast today. But also for anyone who's kind of tuning in, what is the one piece of wisdom you'd want to impart onto everyone from what you've learned so far, doing what you do, and with the experience that you have with so many different people? What is that one piece of wisdom you'd want to impart on the world?
That would be to invest and take care of your health. Right? Because most people take their health for granted. They invest in everything else, like they invest in the latest iPhone or like the fanciest cars. Right? They invest in everything, but other than their health. But once you lose your health is when you know how valuable your health is. Everything basically depends on how healthy you are. Right? So if you're not healthy, if you're not taking care of yourself, your health, then you won't be able to, improve other areas of your life. It's going to affect every area of your life, right? And once you have like a disease or something like that, is when you realize, okay, that's when you think, okay, I should have taken care of my health better.
Everything just comes to a standstill, and then you realize, okay, nothing else works without your health.
Exactly. And a lot of people think that, okay, I can take care of my health later. Now I just focus on my business, or I'll just focus on whatever it is, like college. I'll take care of my health later. But then later might be too late. So invest in your health, take care of your health.
Yeah, I love that. I do think that's something that we take for granted. And we also talk about fitness so much, and body image and body goals and #body goals, all of that. But health, I mean, it all stems from how healthy you are, and any kind of fitness goals or fitness or wellness elements that you incorporate into your life, the priority should be to have optimum health. Because even if you want to go and get on a treadmill and exercise, if your health is not letting you do that, then how do you actually achieve any of those other things? So thank you so much, Akib. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, and I shall see you in the next podcast.